boys and girls. I'm so glad to see you all today. And for our daily read aloud, we're going to read a book called I Am Spring. Do you know why? Because today for me is Sunday, and yesterday was Saturday. And Saturday was the first day of spring. That means it's springtime now. And so we're going to go read this book about spring. This book, again, the title is called I Am Spring, and it is by Rebecca and James McDonald. I am spring. After the cold of winter, I'm the season when the sun starts to slowly warm the land and everything begins to grow again. Flowers open and show their bright colors. Animals and insects come out of hiding, and new life is born into the world. Boys and girls, have you noticed that there are bugs and insects that have come out? I've noticed ants and flies. They come out of hiding when it starts to warm up. One way that people can tell it's the first day of spring is the light of day lasts as long as the dark of night. This is called the spring equinox. And what that really means, boys and girls, is that it stays light longer. You know, in the winter, it gets dark earlier, but in the spring and summer, the daylight lasts longer. During spring, each day the sun rises a little earlier and sets a little later in the afternoon, making the days longer and brighter. Brighter weather means the dirt is warmer, so seeds sprout and push their way up toward the sun. Spring is one of the growing seasons when seeds grow into vegetables that can be picked and eaten. Do you have a garden or flowers that grow? Or does your family have one? Or do you know anybody who has a garden? I know that I like to try to garden a little bit. And I haven't started yet this year, but I'm going to. High up in the sky, when warm spring air mixes with cold ocean air, it can cause bursts of rain showers, watering the land. And guess what that does, boys and girls? That helps things to grow. Bees and other insects come out of hiding and visit flowers for a sip of sweet nectar and a bite of pollen. Many birds that flew away to avoid the cold winter return for the warm sunshine of spring skies. When birds travel to far-off places for better weather and more food, scientists call that a really big word, and that word is called migration. So migration is when birds fly south for warmer weather when it's cold here. And then when our warm weather returns, they come back. As spring warms the land, the sound of bird song fills the air. Have you heard the birds in the morning singing? Birds chirp, tweet, and trill, calling out to meet one another and to claim the areas they want to live. In the morning, you should try to wake up early and just listen. See if you can hear birds chirping in the morning time. Spring is also the time for building nests and laying eggs. While birds are up high, frogs and toads are down low, laying eggs in ponds, under leaves, and sometimes even carrying eggs around on their backs. There's plenty to eat in the warmth of spring. Spring sunshine and the smell of growing foods wake up sleepy animals that rest during the cold months. With the warm sun and lots of food, spring is the perfect season for babies to grow. Do you boys and girls know what animals this is? This is a skunk, and these are baby skunks. Do you know what skunks do? They spray stinky spray, so don't ever make a skunk mad. Bare branches on trees begin to sprout. This is my favorite part of spring. This and the birds. New leaves and some will also grow blossoms. Blossom is another way of saying flower. A gentle spring breeze moving through blossoming branches can make it feel like it's raining flowers. Plants, like trees, are very helpful with keeping the air clean. They remove pollution through their leaves and catch dust and other floating particles on their branches and bark. With all the new growth in spring, there are lots of plants to clean the air. So do you think plants are helpful to the earth? Yeah, they really are. They help clean our air. One way that people help to keep the air clean is by planting new trees and taking care of the plants that are already there. When the day becomes longer and the night, wait, let me start that over. When the day becomes longer than the night and the leaves begin to sprout on the bare branches and bugs and animals that were hiding start to reappear, get ready because that means spring is here. I hope that you liked this book. And these are really neat questions. I'm going to go ahead and look at this one. This says, what's another name for the first day of spring when the day is as long as the night? That was a big word. It's called spring equinox. What happens when warm spring air mixes with cold ocean air? You know what happens? It starts to rain. What are birds doing when they fly far away to look for warmer weather so that they can have food? That's called migration. When the birds migrate, that's when they leave. When we have cold air, the birds migrate to warmer air and warmer places. And then when it gets warm here, they migrate back. And what is another word for flower? Blossom. You all are blossoming into wonderful kindergartners, and I hope you enjoyed this book.